Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Tuesday, April 30th, 2019. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Today is the last trading day of the month. We flip the page to May tomorrow, which will also have the FOMC statement and the Fed interest rate decision. Later on this Friday, we will have the NFP report as well for the first Friday of the new trading month, and those events there will provide some sort of volatility here moving forward, which could be rather exciting here. So we could have a rather quiet type of trading day ahead of the FOMC tomorrow. We could see further back and forth. We continue to trend higher overall, but finally the ES has taken out previous highs. Those highs at 29.47 were taken out in the previous session with a high of 29.51.5. Finally taken out those highs. You can see the FOMC key level here on 926 finally hit after it sold off away from that level, and here we are again about to form another FOMC key level for May 1st tomorrow. You can see that we do have a higher value relationship heading into May, which suggests that any pullback even in the first week of May could provide a nice buying opportunity for a continuation higher until proven otherwise, right? And so if price were to push down through the 28.98s, that's the midpoint, or the current midpoint. Obviously that midpoint can change if today takes out the high, but that's about where the midpoint will be. If that zone is taken out, that's when you see a wider pullback to 28.40, perhaps even lower. So again, we got to continue to go with the flow and the direction of the trend. Pullbacks to be defended for a continuation. We'll see if we can make a move for 3K. Failure to hold 2900 here opens up a return back toward 28K. So right now, kind of sitting at these highs, and we'll see how it continues to develop. But overall, all signs point to further strength until we see some sort of major rejection. So again, got to continue to go with the flow of the chart. If you take a look here at the NQ, you'll see very similar as well. Uptrending price action here. You can see these pullbacks here have been defended. We've come into the 8-period average only a couple of times this month, barely, and each time kind of pushed off that zone. Right now we're hitting it at the moment and bouncing a little bit. Again, the NQ has been quite bullish, has been at new highs beyond the prior October highs, and continues to hold above those zones. Again, I mentioned before that we could see a push through these highs. We could see it hold up here toward 8K, and then at some point maybe give out and see a wider pullback. Until we see signs of that, though, everything is still flowing to the upside. You can also see here higher value relationship month over month, and again that suggests that any pullback into this zone is still a buying opportunity, very similar to the way it was here when we dropped into it and bounced. This was a pullback ahead of the April pivot range, and then it started with quite a bit of strength. So again, we are at the end of this, or toward the end of this move here, after recovering everything that was lost in the last week of the year, come all the way back. And now again, are we running out of runway to the upside? Are we going to start giving out at these highs? We will see. Right now, again, everything's still pointing up, so the directional bias is still bullish. All right, let's take a look here at crude oil. You'll see here with crude oil, we've already started to push higher. I mentioned yesterday that this was a high range day to the downside, and we were starting to see strength above the open, and that's when I mentioned this could be an extreme reversal candidate here. An extreme reversal candidate would be a bullish candidate here that suggests a return back toward recent highs of 66.60, and so far we're showing quite a bit of strength here today. Very narrow range yesterday, breaking to the upside here through 63.75s and starting to see a pretty solid move right now at 64.45. The trend currently is bullish. Pullbacks to be defended unless price cannot hold above 63.75. And so far, everything looks the part for a push back up. What we talked about before was this was a nice little narrow range here, and after taking out that high and failing, we were likely going to come out here and take out the low. And if we did, that could provide another push to a new high, and perhaps we form a range at these highs. So the odds favor that we come up here and test that high after the way we've bounced here off the 63. So further strength likely to be seen here as long as price can continue to hold 63.75. Lastly, looking at gold futures, I mentioned in the previous session that 1280s were very, very important. The way that price pushed through that zone in the previous session here, which was last Friday, was very important. Any pullback to 1280 would likely be defended. Price got as low as 1279.90, one tick below it, held at that zone the entire session, and now here, the next session, we've seen nothing but strength since the overnight move. We've seen strength throughout the pre-market, and now we have an inside day, a double inside day over the last 3 days. Again, we could see continued compression in this zone heading into the FOMC statement tomorrow. So this could lead to further sideways to up behavior as long as it holds above 1280. 1280 is the key level. No guarantee we continue above it. Right now you can see how prices formed lower highs. Every bounce has been rejected, bounce rejected, right? Right now we're seeing a bounce yesterday, a little bit down, but still holding the 1280. So we are at a point here where we could see some significant movement soon, and it probably will take the news of the Fed interest rate decision or perhaps the NFP report in order to get the directional confirmation away from this area. Failure to hold 1280 opens up new lows, and above 1290 suggests that we could rally into at least the low 1300s with a shot to do more. So we will see how this continues to play out. But 1280 to 1290, the key zone to watch here as we head into the rest of the week. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the trading room. Take care.